A church we attended for a time in Puerto Rico had a number of wall hangings decorating the fellowship hall. I remember one in vivid 70s style that proclaimed, "Bloom where you are planted." I can say with certainty there is no one who embodied that saying more than my mother, Theresa Sundberg. She was born to Catherine, a young single mother in 1938 when there wasn't much support for women in that situation. As a little sprout, Teresa's early life was a bit chaotic as her mother sought stable care for her while she tried to make a living. Sometimes Mom was able to live with Catherine, other times she lived with relatives or Kay, her mother's best friend. Sometimes she resided in Minnesota, other times in Wisconsin or Illinois. She was a bit like wind-blown dandelion fluff in her early years, but she spent the rest of her life looking for and finding fertile ground to sink in a deep tap root. In 1942, Catherine married Rex Davis, and when he was discharged from the Army, the new small family moved to Zion, Illinois. Eventually, her parents purchased an old building, possibly an old concession stand, on the Lake Michigan shoreline to fix up as a family home. Having the ever-changing lake, the beach, the rocks, and flotsam as your backyard was a unique experience, and she never lost her love of the shore and beach combing. She was nearly 8 by the time siblings began appearing, and she was no longer alone. First Bradley, then Suzanne, then Timothy, and very much later Paul. As she went through school, she would have enjoyed participating in after-school activities, but both her parents worked, and they relied on her to help with minding her siblings. Did she whine and pout? Maybe, but knowing her, I like to think she accepted her situation with grace. That early caregiving experience certainly was good practice for many situations in which she later found herself. And learning to accept the things that couldn't be changed gave her the right attitude to bloom so stupendously as she matured. She certainly was able to form deep friendships during these early years. She still regularly met with the 56 Girls, a group of friends from her Zion school years, and a certain new boy in her 4th grade classroom came back into her life some 70-plus years later. She really began to blossom after graduation when she secured a secretarial job at Abbott Laboratories in North Chicago, moved into her own apartment in Waukegan, and soon thereafter met Rudolf Sundberg, a handsome and brilliant student splitting time between his chemical engineer studies at Northwestern University and a co-op job at Abbott. Her world literally expanded. Rudy took her on a first date to a movie in the big city of Chicago to which she had never been. And then shortly after their marriage in 1958, they journeyed with Rudy's parents on a road trip to the western U.S. and Canada. This certainly whetted both Rudy and Terry's lifelong appetites for travel. As often happens, the next adventure after marriage was also to be lifelong: motherhood. Anita was born in 1960 and Eric in 1964. Terry was an excellent stay-at-home mother, keeping up with the demands of the home while enriching her children's lives with stories, games, and magnificently themed birthday parties. But she never let the tasks of being a homemaker keep her from contributing to her community. She was putting down roots in Waukegan and blooming as a classroom mother, Sunday school leader, and PTO president. Her personal growth continued when the entire family put down new roots in Puerto Rico in 1975, when a job opportunity opened up for Rudy. A new language and culture was for her a fun challenge to take on. She took Spanish classes, joined a church and other organizations, volunteered at the schools, utilized her creativity while running the children's day camp at one of the local resorts. She learned how to golf and entertained friends and family traveling from the States, as well as frequent business visitors. Those 5 years in the tropics flew by, and in 1978, Terry found herself on familiar land in northern Illinois as the family moved back to the mainland and made a home in Lake Forest. With one child in high school and the other away at college, she finally had an opportunity to finish her own college degree. After years of hard work, she burst forth as a certified public accountant and opened her own business. In 1994, Rudy said goodbye to Abbott and built his dream house in Lake Geneva, and they started growing new roots again. Grandkids Cullen and Ned were now on the scene, and the large house with frequent frog and deer sightings became a favorite place for them to visit. After she retired, Terry transformed their large yard into a showcase of woodland paths with a pond and native plants. For many years, she volunteered to keep the gardens fresh at Old World, Wisconsin, and she also served on the Town of Geneva Parks Commission and instituted an annual Garlic Mustard Fest to rid a popular trail of this invasive species. In 2014, the family's world changed dramatically when Rudy suffered a stroke. Through the long years of his decline and eventual death in 2022, Terry was a steadfast and loving caregiver as she managed the downsizing from their dream home to a 2-bedroom apartment at East Castle Place. Terry adapted readily to life in Milwaukee. She became involved in nearly every activity and outing offered by her new residents and neighborhood as she sunk her roots down one final time. She entertained her neighbors with The View from the Porch, a regular column in the East Castle newsletter. Her lifelong passions were still in evidence: miniatures, costumes, writing, gardens, animal friends, and ice cream. In the years since Rudy died, Terry was able to embrace travel again, and she let no moss grow under her feet. She signed up for trips with friends or went completely on her own, confident that she would make friends along the way, and she always did. It is fitting to end this video with some of Terry's own words. From an essay she wrote called Stepping Through Life, she says, "I cannot settle on just one trip experience that stands out. It's the whole package that has enriched my life. To see the different lifestyles and cultures, to taste the foods of many lands, to hear the various sounds, to drink in the sweet aromas and close my nostrils to the acrid is to get to know the world beyond a homogeneous society. Every place you go touches one sense or another. Travel is food for the soul. As fortunate as I am to have experienced so much of the world, there is so much I still do not understand or know. The last step for me after seeing the world is to open my heart and pocketbook to those who have some answers and are working to make this a more peaceful world for all."